Hot damn ho, here we go again. MC Lyte stands as one of hip-hop's true pioneers, breaking barriers and setting new standards for women in hip-hop since the 80s. With a career spanning over 3 decades, she has released a diverse catalog of albums that reflect her growth as an artist and as a woman. From her raw and confident debut to her more reflective and genre-blending later projects, Lyte has never been afraid to evolve. Her discography captures the essence of multiple hip-hop eras, each album offering a unique glimpse into her mindset and message at the time. This list ranks MC Lyte's official studio albums, considering lyrical strength, production, cultural impact, and overall cohesiveness. While some albums became instant classics, others were quiet experiments, but each contributed to her legacy. Before we begin, remember to join our Patreon and Discord and pick up some merchandise on shop.culturalisttheory.com. Now let's dive into the journey of one of rap's most respected voices, one album at a time. Number 9, The Underground Heat, Volume 1. The Underground Heat, Volume 1 is a rare find, literally. As of 2025, the only way to hear the full album is to hunt down the CD version on Amazon, since no one has uploaded the entire project online. That alone says something about its cultural impact, or lack thereof. While MC Lyte's gritty style still flickers here and there, especially on tracks like Intro, Ride With Me, and Fire, the album as a whole doesn't compel you to shell out for a physical copy. The online samples floating around aren't bad, but they don't exactly scream hidden gem either. This was Lyte's first independent release after leaving East West Records, and while that move gave her creative control, the results feel uneven. Despite featuring big names like Jamie Foxx, Queen Latifah, and Biz Markie in the interludes, their appearances come off more as novelty than necessity. There's a lo-fi energy and underground appeal here, but not enough to elevate the album beyond niche interest. God Said Lyte hints at her lyrical prowess, but even that feels more like a reminder of past greatness than a reinvention. Superstar tries for a standout moment, but never fully lands. With minimal chart success and virtually no digital presence today, the album has faded into obscurity. It's not a disaster, just deeply forgettable. You can feel the effort, but not the urgency. Ultimately, The Underground Heat is a collector's item for hardcore fans only, not a lost classic. Number 8, 7 and 7. MC Lyte's 6th studio album, 7 and 7, arrives with an impressive lineup of producers and guest features, setting high expectations for a bold, dynamic release. Unfortunately, what we get is something far more muted. The album is mostly inoffensive, but that's part of the problem. Great art should stir something, and this collection of tracks rarely does. Lyte explores familiar themes like love, partying, and personal growth, but her delivery feels more reflective than fiery. Tracks like It's All Yours, Closer, and Want What I Got offer brief sparks of energy, standing out as the album's few memorable highlights. Despite the occasional strong chorus or slick beat, much of the album passes by without leaving an impression. It's especially disappointing given contributions from powerhouse producers like Missy Elliott, The Neptunes, and LL Cool J. Songs like Woo Woo, Freak Out, and Give Me What I Want sound polished, yet emotionally flat. Even with the genre-blending efforts and sample-heavy production, the overall tone feels cautious and oddly subdued. The album's title may suggest introspection, but too often that reads more like hesitancy. There's a sense that Lyte was trying to evolve artistically, but the results feel more like a transition than a statement. At more than 77 minutes long, it drags without ever truly building momentum. 7 and 7 isn't a bad album, it's just a forgettable one. And that might be the worst thing art can be. Number 7, Ain't No Other. When you've got the Blastmaster KRS-One hyping your album's arrival, hip-hop heads know they're in for a treat. On her 4th LP, Ain't No Other, MC Lyte delivers exactly what KRS promises: lyrical terrorism and hardcore beats. After her 3rd album, Act Like You Know, caught flack for being too eclectic and feminine, Lyte returns with a vengeance, spitting like she's got something to prove. Never ever have I said I was good looking, just a badass bitch from the Brooklyn, she growls on the opening track, making it clear she's not here for flowers. Then comes Roughneck, her biggest commercial hit, first gold certified single and first ever for a female MC and a Grammy nominee. The track still thumps, and Lyte's verses still cut through the noise. But after that peak, the album settles into full throttle mic assault mode. There's no storytelling magic like Eyes on This or social insight like Act Like You Know, just back-to-back boom bap barrages. What's My Name, Yo, Let Me At 'Em, and the title track all bang, but the substance sometimes gets drowned out by the sound. That's not to say that Lyte can't switch it up. On I Go On, she lets down her guard after heartbreak, and Lil Paul adds some humor with the petty revenge plot. And let's not forget Steady Fuckin', a fierce diss aimed at Roxanne Shante. Still, it's clear the album was crafted to reclaim street cred. The LP closes with a remix of her classic I Cram to Understand You, reminding us that beneath the bravado is a gifted writer. But instead of building on that depth, Lyte goes full hardcore, likely to please the guys who didn't want introspection from a woman in rap. It worked. Ain't No Weather nearly went gold and brought Lyte roaring back. But at what cost? Number 6, Legend. Released in 2015, Legend is an album that fits perfectly into the soundscape of the mid-2010s. From the booming production to the dance floor ready energy, it's clear MC Lyte was aiming to match the era's musical trends. Tracks like Check, Ball, and We Here Now are high-octane, beat-heavy songs designed to move a crowd. In that sense, Lyte succeeded. She made a record that sounds exactly like its time. Collaborations with Common, Faith Evans, and Lil Mama give the project added commercial appeal, showing she still had industry pull. The production is polished, full of synths and programmed drums typical of 2010s hip-hop and R&B. At the time, Legend must have felt fresh and surprisingly contemporary from a veteran like MC Lyte. But now, over a decade later, the album sounds dated. Its effort to chase trends means it hasn't aged well. While it's admirable how seamlessly Lyte adapted to a new sound, the album lacks the timelessness of her earlier work. The glossy hooks and EDM-flavored beats no longer feel exciting, they feel like relics. Dear John stands out for its message and lyrical depth, but most other tracks are driven more by vibe than substance. Legend is a solid time capsule, but not one you'll return to often. It's a respectable effort that speaks more to Lyte's versatility than her legacy. Number 5, Act Like You Know. In our Queen Latifah episode, we talked about how her second album, Nature of a Sister, caught heat for leaning into New Jack Swing and R&B. Funny enough, just a week later, MC Lyte faced similar backlash for Act Like You Know. While not roasted as hard as Latifah's, Lyte's third album marked a commercial dip, peaking at 102 on the Billboard 200 and missing the top 20 on the rap and R&B charts. Critics were split, some praised her storytelling, others called it preachy. But Lyte clapped back on Kamikaze.
But when I talk of education, you fear that. Drugs and such, you don't want to hear that. First I pleased you, now I teach you.
Act Like You Know is a bold, black, female-centered narrative about sex, love, loss, and life. It's more musical than her earlier boom-bap-heavy projects, incorporating gospel intros, rock guitar licks, and storytelling that centers women, not the male gaze. Lyte's verses feel like real combos between homegirls. Songs like All That, Take It Off, and When in Love reflect female desires and experiences, while Poor Georgie, a bittersweet tale of young love gone wrong, became her first Billboard Hot 100 single. For the fellas, there's still bar work, Search for the Light, Beyond the Hype, and Big Bad Sister, but the beauty is how Lyte flips the script, making men the background players in her world. That said, not every risk pays off. Too Young for What and Mickey Slipper haven't aged well, and by the time we get to Practical Jokes, with roaches and bubble baths, things go off the rails. Still, Act Like You Know is an ambitious and perfect gem. Lyte didn't just reach, she dared. She may not have landed amongst the stars, but she made it to the moon, and that's no small feat. Number 4, One of One. One of One marks a triumphant return for MC Lyte, an album that not only reestablishes her place in hip-hop, but elevates it. After a 9-year hiatus, she reemerges with a project that feels mature, grounded, and masterfully crafted. From the opening moments, Lyte sounds confident and fully realized, both as a woman and as an MC. Her voice carries the weight of experience, and her lyrics are rich with themes of wisdom, growth, and empowerment. The production, led by legends like Warren Campbell, Knotts, and Easy Mo Bee, is soulful, classic, and forward-thinking all at once. The features are bold and surprising. Stevie Wonder, Queen Latifah, Ghostface Killah, and Salt all show up, not just as names, but as thoughtful collaborators who elevate the tracks they touch. Songs like Change Your Ways, King King, and Woman feel powerful and purposeful, rooted in messages that matter. Even more playful tracks like Kick Back Relax and Lyte Ghost Lil Mama have layers and bounce. Lyte's flow remains sharp and precise, but there's also a softness and reflection in tracks like Thank You and Alright that show emotional range. The album is tightly curated, never overstaying its welcome, and packed with intentional interludes and production choices that weave a narrative. To Rock the Mic reminds us of her lyrical chops, while Music is a love letter to the art form itself. One of One isn't about riding a wave, it's about legacy, substance, and soul. Lyte shows that evolution doesn't mean losing your roots, it means growing deeper into them. This is not just a comeback, it's a statement, one of clarity, power, and timeless artistry.
You don't just listen to music, it shapes you. That vibe, that energy, that voice. Our Raised Me merch, it's all about honoring the albums that built the culture that built you. 8 legendary albums on every piece. A nod to the past, a flex for the future. Ready to rep your roots? Cop now at shop.culturalisttheory.com.
Number 3, Bad As I Wanna Be. It's a crime that MC Lyte never went gold or platinum during her prime. But make no mistake, she is a pioneer who paved the way for every female rapper who followed. Without Lyte and icons like Queen Latifah breaking barriers, the brat wouldn't have shattered records in '94 with Functified, the first solo rap album by a female to go platinum. That Jermaine Dupri produced project kicked off a new wave of women commercially. So it makes perfect sense that Lyte went down south to get some of that so def magic for her 6th album, Bad As I Wanna Be. Of the album's 11 tracks, 6 are produced by JD, including Keep On Keeping On featuring Escape, Have You Ever, and Every Day, each laced with smooth lo-fi beats that let Lyte's voice take center stage. Without the more aggressive boom bap of her earlier work, we hear her tone and emotion more clearly as she raps about love, lyrical dominance, and leveling up in the industry. Even when other producers like Diddy, Stevie J, Missy Elliott, and Rashad Smith jump in on Cold Rock a Party, the vibe stays cohesive and chill. What makes this album one of Lyte's best is how she circles back to what made fans love her in the first place. Zodiac brings back her surreal storytelling flair, Drug Lord Superstar echoes her early narrative-driven gems, and crucially, she finally lets herself be sensual and feminine, especially on tracks like One on One, without apology. Bad As I Wanna Be gave Lyte 2 gold singles and her highest Billboard 200 placement at number 59. While it's not her most iconic album, it's arguably her most polished and successful. Still, Lyte's legend status comes less from the hits and more from the doors she kicked open. Number 2, Lyte as a Rock. Writing about a truly classic album like MC Lyte's 1988 debut, Lyte as a Rock, is tough because it's not just great, it's historic. The first rap album released by a female MC. And there's so much important context to cover. To do this story justice, you have to look at the history. Raised in Brooklyn, MC Lyte was introduced to hip-hop through her half-brother Milk D of Audio 2 and her stepfather Nat Robinson, who founded First Priority Records. Lyte's career began at 14 with her demo for I Cram to Understand You, finally released in 1986 when she was 16. Initially overlooked as the label focused on Audio 2, she quickly proved herself and cut her debut album at 17 with the help of Prince Paul, DJ Scratch, and The Alliance. The 10-track Lyte as a Rock feels both playful and powerful. Right away, Lyte asserts herself on the title track with lines like, "If a rap can paint 1,000 words, then I can paint 1,000,000. Throughout the album, her lyricism strikes a perfect balance between feminine and fierce. On I Am Woman, she declares, "The Queen? Nah, that's too corny." On Kickin' for Brooklyn, she burns rival MCs. The Crown Jewel is 10% Diss, one of hip-hop's most famous diss tracks, where she demolishes Antoinette with lines like, "You should've won a prize as a Rakim sound-alike." Written as early as age 13, some rhymes feel advanced beyond her years, like her drug addiction cautionary tale, I Cram to Understand You, while others like I've Acquired the Knowledge like Miss Butterworth on MC Lyte Like Swingin' feel playful. The album peaked at number 50 on the Billboard Black Albums chart, ran 16 weeks, and its influence endures. Even if it takes a moment to adjust your ear, Lyte as a Rock proves Lyte was, and still is, one of hip-hop's most important trailblazers. Number 1, Eyes on This. There is some real back and forth debating whether Lyte as a Rock or Eyes on This deserve the crown. But Eyes on This just edges out its predecessor. Not only did it build on Lyte's lyrical brilliance, but it also made history as the first album by a female rapper to chart on the Billboard 200, peaking at number 86, and the first to break the top 10 on the hip hop and R&B charts, back then when it was still called the Black Albums. With a production dream team, Audio 2, Marley Marl, Grand Poobah, PMD, and King of Chill, Lyte goes bar for bar with anyone in the game. She kicks the door open with Cha Cha Cha, a dance floor ready banger that doubles as lyrical warfare.
My competition, you'll find them in the hospital.
It became the first song by a woman to hit #1 on Billboard's rap singles chart, staying on the chart for 18 weeks. Much of the album is Lyte flexing her mic supremacy on tracks like Throwing Words at You, Stop, Look, Listen, Rhyme Hangover, and I Am the Light. But where the album really hits is in the storytelling and social commentary. On Cappuccino, she crafts a surreal, almost spiritual tale about dying, reflecting in the afterlife, and returning with new perspective. A stone cold classic. On Not With a Dealer, she narrates the downfall of a friend who falls for a 5%er dope boy, dropping the gem, "You make love like he makes deals." And Please Understand closes things out with humor and heat as Lyte calls out played out pickup lines over razor sharp scratches by DJ K-Rock. Eyes on This is like Lyte as a rock grown up, sharper, deeper, and more impactful. A couple tracks may feel dated, but true heads know, this is one of the most essential LPs in hip hop history. If you enjoyed this list, check out our rankings we did on other legendary women of hip hop like Trina and Queen Latifah. Until next time, peace.